frogs and newts and toads. Oh my! Amphibia. The final episodes finally hit Disney Plus, which means I've now seen the whole thing. I don't think I talked about season 2 in specific. Can't remember if I did. I think I talked about season 1. In any case, I've now seen the whole thing. This is another one of those shows that I ended up watching with my kiddo because it was a bit fantastical. Weird creatures, animals, seemed up her alley. She did like it. I liked it too. It's got a really fun energy. And one of the things I like about it is even as it delved into its finale and its more serious moments, it kept that fun for the most part. It wasn't afraid to keep having jokes now and then, even as it was hitting its climax and its finale and dealing in a little bit of creepy imagery at some point towards the tail end there. But I think this conversation is mostly going to focus on season 3, even though I don't think I talked about season 2, because season 3 is the biggest shakeup. Season 2 did have a very intense climax. And I mean, season 2 also introduced Keith David as King Andreas, and oh God, Keith David's voice. I will never, ever, ever get tired of it. But that had some neat twists. But season 3 starts in a completely different place because it starts with the planters on Earth, and I actually really like how quickly Anne's parents just roll with it. I liked her parents a lot, actually, which is nice. Parent characters can very easily get the shaft, especially in a show like this where theoretically parental authority would be something that is trying to stop the fun adventure that we're watching. But here, no. No, they want in. And it's nice. And, you know, the planters being on Earth, I don't find it quite as interesting as Anne being in Amphibia, but for a chunk of the time, basically until the massive ongoing plot stuff really started to kick in and hit high gear, it was still fun. It was enjoyable. I'll be upfront, I don't like Mr. X. That's kind of a double layer of dislike. One, I don't really like the character very much. I don't find him funny, interesting, intriguing. I just didn't like the character particularly. He was also voiced by RuPaul, who I have, let's be kind and go with complicated feelings about as a person. But even setting that aside, can we be really honest? RuPaul's not a good actor. Whatever you think, and like RuPaul's not untalented. RuPaul is very good at what he does, but yeah, as an actor, it's not great. And I was annoyed that character kept coming back. I softened it insofar as, like, by the end, he shows up and there's also the Boom Choys there. And I'm like, okay, well, at least they're here. So that was all right. The stuff with the core, some good creepy imagery. Disney in general has not been afraid to go creepy with some of its stuff in the last few years. Gravity Falls, this, Owl House, jeez. And yes, okay, at the time I'm recording this, the final chunk of season 2 of Owl House has finally hit Disney Plus. I am seeing it probably later today. I will shoot a review on it. I might even have that review out already if I prioritize editing that over this. I don't know. But in case I don't, yes, I've seen it. Just give me a hot minute. But in any case, I liked what they continued to do with Andreas. Again, a lot of that is just Keith David. Keith David is just so good. His voice is so good, and he can take someone and make them sound scary or intimidating or give them that human aspect to the character, even when it's a villain, because Andreas, not a great guy. I feel like they were able to have some really good heck yeah moments, well, across the show in general, in the season in particular, when it came to stuff like dealing with these robot forces sent after them, seeing Anne's friends get powered up. I like that there was a proper confrontation about how these friends have mistreated each other in the past. How they are friends. They were friends. But that doesn't mean that they were perfect. And, that sometimes Anne and Sasha just weren't paying attention to Marcy's needs. And Marcy was not good at communicating those. And Marcy did obviously do something very wrong, dragging them all into Amphibia, and especially not telling them for a while that she did that. But I like that the show doesn't fully let anybody off the hook, but doesn't fully lay the blame on any one person either. Like, relationships are messy. Friendships can be messy. The situation's messy. And it's not about assigning blame and finger wagging, but it is also acknowledging, yeah, this is something everybody contributed a little bit to here and there. I think that was well done. And I also think the little bit at the end, seeing them years later and seeing that they can still get together and be friends and be like, hey, I've missed you, but they didn't stay in touch forever. That's actually, I don't know how many shows like this would be prepared to acknowledge that. Look, the friends you have now, yes, they matter. Yes, they're important. But they're not always going to be your nearest and dearest friends. And that's not a tragedy. That's a thing that just happens with time. But you'll still have those times. You'll still have meaning to each other. And you can still get together and still have a connection. I actually really like kind of the coda on that overall. And obviously the planters are still fun. And Polly is such chaos. I really do enjoy her a lot. And Hop Hop, they always know how to give just the right dose of him, because he is the kind of character who could annoy me if we get too much of him, but we generally get just the right amount of him. And Sprig is just a ball of sunshine. It's hard to hate on a character like Sprig. So I enjoy the cast. I enjoy the vibe. The animation style, it grew on me over time. It's not a favorite. This degree of cartoonish exaggeration in the designs and the reaction, those occasional super close-up detailed things. I'm not a huge fan of those stylistically, but it wasn't enough to put me off the show. So while I'm not going to say I hope to see more animation in this art style, it worked. It worked for what it was doing. So I was good with that. Overall, it just had a really good energy. It was just fun watching this show. And even as it got more dire and more serious and gave the climax the weight that it deserved, it still remembered to be fun. And that, to me, that's a show that has its priorities straight. And I will always appreciate that. Amphibia, final season, some overall thoughts on the thing as a whole. What did you think about this show? Whatever your thoughts are, assuming you've seen it, drop them down in the comments. Let's talk about it. Patreon's what pays the bills. Like, share, subscribe. Also help me out if you're not able to chuck a few bucks my way. But don't worry too much about any of it. I'd appreciate it for sure, but, we take a relaxed attitude around here, so just come on back next time you need a break. Now my thanks to my highest supporting patrons. Robin Moore, Zubin Lutfullah, Tarak, The Thing That Goes Doink in the Anime, Oliver B., Melinda Walters, Udelki, The Oath the Boy, Bernabulax the Poodle, Zach, Idolin, Tracy Scrabbit, Angry Casperol, Bookworm, Adam, RDL Taylor, Shane Ross, Jay Gorley, Brendan LaRose, and TT. If you want to hear me possibly butcher your name, check out the rewards on the Patreon. And thanks to all you folks.